Chased by Shadows, the true story of a driver who outsmarted a gang. Our story today is a true story that a man once told, a story filled with danger, fear, and incredible courage. He began by saying,
"My name is Daniel. I am 50 years old, and I work as a truck driver. I have spent most of my life on the highways, moving from one state to another, transporting goods from ports to companies scattered across the country. My work isn't steady with one company. I drive for anyone who needs a reliable driver who doesn't ask too many questions and always delivers his cargo safely. I have seen long nights, endless roads, storms, broken engines, and everything a trucker could encounter, but nothing prepared me for what happened on that day. It was a morning like any other. I had loaded my truck with valuable goods and started my journey across a desolate stretch of road that cut through empty fields and silent forests. I was used to driving alone with only the sound of the engine and the hum of my thoughts. But that day, silence felt heavier, as if something was waiting for me. I drove for hours until suddenly, far ahead, I saw something strange, a roadblock. At first I thought it was from the police or road workers, but when I slowed down, my heart began to pound. The roadblocks weren't official. They were wooden planks, old tires, and metal scraps thrown across the road. I stopped the truck. For a few seconds, the world felt frozen. Then came the sound of footsteps. From behind the trees and bushes, they appeared, a gang of armed robbers, surrounding me from every direction. Their faces were hidden under masks and scarves, their weapons pointed straight at me. My throat went dry. One of them barked, out of the truck. I raised my hands and stepped down slowly. "What do you want from me?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. "Come with us without any questions," their leader said coldly, "or we'll kill you." I had no choice. If I ran, they would shoot. If I resisted, it would be the end. But inside, my mind was racing. The goods inside that truck were not mine, I was responsible for them. If anything happened, it would be on me. But how could I fight armed men alone? In my heart I whispered, "Oh God, what do I do? Help me." They forced me into their vehicle and drove me to an abandoned area far from the main road. My fear was real, but so was my determination. I kept watching their movements, waiting, planning. I needed just one chance, one moment of distraction. When we reached the spot they wanted, they told me harshly, "Get out. Leave the truck and walk away." I obeyed. I stepped away slowly, trying to look terrified. Then I heard it, the sharp crack of gunfire. They shot at me. My body reacted before my mind did. I dropped to the ground and pretended to be hit, lying motionless in the dust. They didn't bother to check me. They thought I was dead or dying. Their greed consumed them. They rushed toward the truck to unload the cargo, leaving their car, and their weapons, unguarded. And that was the moment I needed. I sprang up, ran to their car, jumped inside, and drove off at full speed. Gravel flew, dust rose behind me. When they noticed, they shouted and cursed, abandoning the truck and chasing after me on foot. I drove just far enough to lure them away. The moment I saw they were distant enough, I made a sharp U-turn and raced back toward the truck. My heart felt like it would explode, but I kept going. When I reached the truck again, I saw them running toward me, desperate and furious. I grabbed one of their guns from the car and fired a warning shot into the air. The sound echoed loudly, and the men instantly dropped to the ground in fear. I knew I hadn't hit anyone, I only wanted to scare them. Then, to make sure they couldn't follow me, I aimed at their car's tires and shot them out. The vehicles sank slowly, useless and dead. I climbed into my truck, started the engine, and drove straight to the company headquarters without looking back. My hands were shaking on the wheel, but the cargo was safe. When I arrived, I told the manager everything that had happened. He looked at me with wide eyes, astonished. "Daniel," he said with admiration, "you're brave, and this is your reward." He handed me a generous bonus, far more than I expected. But the truth is, the real reward was something else, the feeling of escaping with my life, and beating a gang that tried to break me. And so Daniel finished his story, saying, "That was my encounter with the gang. A day I will never forget. A day I learned that courage sometimes comes when your life is on the line, and when you pray for strength, God sends it in the most unexpected ways."